Alright, so let's build our Magneto bot. So first thing you have to do is check out our magnets. So you're going to have a north and a south polarity magnet, and it's designed so that all of your parts can stick to each other. And so you need to make sure that you use like all of one, north or south, in the bot, and then the opposite side on all the parts that connect to the bot. So you're going to take one of your, you're going to have, they will be stuck together like that. Alright, so we're going to use our little wood screws. These are going to attach all of our magnets. We'll just choose one of these holes here. Now magnets are quite sensitive and you don't want to bust them, so snug it but don't over tighten it. And also you're screwing into 3D print, which can strip out fairly easily. So you just want to make it firm. There you go. And now that's done. And so you do that around your whole bot. You have these two right here. You have those back there. And those are all the magnets for the chassis. And so now you're going to do the same thing with all of your other components. Your wheel guards. Things like that. And now you're going to have another part that requires a north and a south connection, and that is your hub and your wheel. And so you're going to put like your north there and your south there, or vice versa, just opposites, so they can stick to each other. And that's how that goes. And while we're talking about the hub here, let's show you the motor. So the way this works is you press it onto your motor shaft. You may need to clean this up a little bit to get it to fit just right. Grab a tool real quick. You may have to do this. Just go around the inside there. You don't need to press very hard, and you don't need to. You don't want to cut too deep into the material. You just want to make sure that this fits on there. Once you get that on there, press it on there all the way, and you use one of your wood screws, the little gold wood screws here, to put right in that center hole there and attach that to the motor. And then you're going to put your magnets in there afterwards. Alright, now that you got that in there, next you're going to have to attach wires to your motor. These little receivers here that work with the transmitters, they come with some wires. What you do is you solder those wires to there. And then we like to put a little bit of hot glue over that, and then use the supplied zip ties to attach those. I'll show you one that's done. Just to make sure that those wires stay attached and don't move around. Like that. And we'll cut off the extra there. Now the way that we want to attach these wires to your receiver here is, what we like to do is fold it over onto itself, because the wires themselves are really thin and they want to pull out of the little connectors here. So you fold them over, use your little screwdriver. It does come with a supplied screwdriver, but I can't seem to find the one right now, so I'm going to use the one that we have here. We're going to screw these out. Now these motors are not marked with a positive and negative. So what you're going to have to do is attach your wires on there, and I'd recommend attaching them on the same. So on your second one, put a red right there and a black right there. And then so when you put them into the slots, you may have to reverse them to get it to move the proper direction, but it's very easy. So what we do is we fold those wires over onto itself like I showed you. and then we would put those into the motor slots. And your first one here is for battery. These two slots here are for battery. The second two are for the drive. And so this one here, there is no positive and negative marker on there as well. So you just slide it in one of them. And tighten it. And you can give a little tug to make sure that it's in there good. It's in there pretty good. And you slide your other one in and tighten that. Now what you can do at this point is attach your battery. And with your transmitter, this would be for the motor on that side right there. You would push up, and if it moves forward, spinning this way, like that, spinning like that, then you have it wired correctly. If not, just reverse those two wires. And you would do that on the other side as well. For the battery, there is a positive and a negative marker here, so it makes it pretty easy. Alright, so let's attach your battery wire. So you want to strip the wire back a little bit and fold the wire onto itself so it's doubled, so you can see it like that. It's just a little bit thicker. And there's a positive and negative side here. Plus and a minus. Put the red into the plus side and the black into the negative side. And once that's in there, tighten it down. And that's your battery plug. So now let's attach our drive motors. So you want to slide these wires into the slot here. And then press this little little tab up here into that hole, just like that, and then use your longer screw to go through right there. Let's get a screwdriver. Grab your nylon nut. That's going to go right there. Then use your smaller screw here and do the same thing. Put it through the tab right there. And use another nylon nut right there. Alright. Now when you solder your wires onto your weapon motors, make sure you solder them in this orientation, and this will make clearance for the bracket that you're going to attach them into. Because there's a little rod that goes to the back. If you put the wire straight out, it will be in the way of it. Press your motor into the bracket. Like that. Now you're going to take your smaller weapon belt here and you're going to put that around one of your motors like that, or on the line like that. And this will keep you from having to undo the whole thing after you put it all together, which I've done many times. So you put your pulley in there, like that. It's a D-shaped hole, so line those up. And now you're going to take a nylon nut and place that it's a tight fit, so you're going to have to work to get in there a bit, but it's mostly just has to be straight. There you go. And you're going to have a longer screw, and that goes through there, and this keeps everything aligned. And so far I've noticed the best spacing for this is you just screw this in until it is flush with your nylon nut. And that seems to be the perfect spacing. There you go. So now you're going to have these two smaller shafts, and what these do, these are the rails that your motors slide on. Now these may be a tight fit the first couple times you do this, but they will loosen up a little bit as you change it out if you have to. There we go. Now it looks like we made it perfect now. So you slide your bracket onto the shaft and put it into the slot here, these two slots. Pull your belt up in the middle here, get that out of the way so you don't get that behind those. And now you're going to have two springs. These springs go on the shaft. Now be cautious, if you pull these up, these springs will go flying, and you will lose them. So be sure to do this facing a wall or something along those lines. Put your second one in. Now you pull them back and press it down. And there's your tensioning device to keep your belt tight. On some of your parts, like the pulley and your weapon here, you are going to have some material you're going to have to clear out from the 3D printing. And needle nose pliers or any other kind of little thing you can get in there. Just grab it and pull that out. Like that. And now for this right here, you're going to have to put in some bearings. And we do have the bearings a very tight fit, so they do not fall out. So you may have to get the hole just right. On this top one here, it should be pretty good fit. What you can do is you line it up. Looks like it's going to go in there perfect. Then you won't have to do something like this, but I just want to make sure that it's... There we go. Do that. So get it lined up. And you can also use the shaft, the large 3mm shaft that goes through it, to help you get aligned as well. So what I'm going to do is press this down in the middle here. There you go. Got your bearing perfectly centered. And it should spin really good like that. Now go ahead and do that on the other side. If you need to, clear out a little bit of the edge, but don't clear out too much. Alright, so let's attach your weapon blade. So the shaft goes through the hole here. And, okay, let's address this too while we're at it. You're going to have these little rubber ends here. And so what you're going to want to do is cut it in half. That's going to give you two pieces. You're going to get like a cap and a sleeve. And so the sleeve goes on. Easier said than done, apparently. There we go. But you do want it to be a tight fit. Let's try the other way and see if it goes on a little easier. There we go. Now you want to slide that up and kind of put your shaft centered. Like that. And then the little cap goes on the other side, and that'll give you a smooth surface to ride around on. And keep the bot from marring up the floor if you got a nice floor you're driving this on. There you go. Now you want to take your band here and attach it, wrap it around like that. There you go. Now your weapon is ready just about here. Alright, so now I'm going to put our lids together. Now we want to make sure that we're using the opposite side magnet for the lids. You're going to have these countersunk machine screws. The magnet facing down onto the bot there. That won't matter until later, but now if you have a socket wrench that fits this, great, but if you don't, you can also use needle nose pliers to hold it. Like I said this earlier, but I'll say it again. Don't screw down too tight on your magnets because you don't want to break them, because they will shatter. And also, you want to leave it just a little bit loose so it has a little bit of play in it, so it can find these holes a little easier. And so this particular one is the holder for the lid for the weapon shaft here. And that's how that goes. Obviously one more right there. And now on your lid for the rest of this right here, you're going to have two different sizes that go into it. You're going to use these smaller ones like this up in the front, and on the rear here we're going to have some longer ones. And you're going to have to take one of these rubber caps here and cut off just the cap, just a little bit past the cap there. See if I can find it. About that much or so. So you have a longer tube here. And what you're going to do is take a magnet, make sure it's the opposite than what's on your bot. And you can tell the opposites just in case. There's a cup, and the cup is the side that we're facing down. And so it will pull to the other cup side if it's the correct. It will repel itself if it's not. So you take your magnet, put it on the screw, and then slide the shaft on. And then this will go like this on the back half of your lid. And again, needle nose pliers, or a socket if you have it. Now these magnets sometimes make it difficult for your screwdriver to line up. There we go. And just till it goes and is flush with the screw there, or the bolt. There you go. And that's how your lid goes on. And this will create a space for your battery underneath there. There's also this larger O-ring, and this is for your wheels. This slides over your wheel into the groove. Now I'll give you some traction. So for your transmitter, you're going to have this little adapter plate which gives you the ability to hold your weapon button down while you're driving. And so far this is the way we have connecting it. We may upgrade this in the future here. But you get these little twist ties, essentially, and you slide them through a little bit, wrap them around on themselves, like that. And this will sit on top of your transmitter here. The window is at the bottom here for your finger to get in there to do the switch. Wrap around the back, tighten it up. In the future, we're probably going to have Velcro straps that do this. And so now you're going to have a little screw here. These are little 3M screws, M3 screws. And when these screw in, they press down your weapon button. So one button here will make it spin one way, and the other button will make it spin the other way. So you can choose the direction of your weapon just by screwing it in. You screw it in until it starts to spin. You unscrew it when you're done with it spinning. Simple as that. That's how the transmitters work. Alright, so we still need to add in our control board into our box. And there's two holes there that line up with these holes here. And so there's some pedestals on here that are just a little bit too big. And they make it difficult to get everything in there. So you're just going to trim them off like that. Line that up with the hole. Use an Allen nut on the back side. Now you don't want to crush this down too much. You don't want to damage the board at all. So just firm it up on the nut, and there you go. You just put this one in right there, and that's attached. Alright, so this is the other model as well. The only difference is that you'll have more of these 3mm shafts and more of these caps, but everything else is the same. And the way the top comes off here, just go like that, and that's how you would access the battery. And here's the tensioner in action. And also here's like the wheel guard. Here's how it works. Just magnets right off, right back on. And the tires. There you go. Real quick to put back together.